I'm so dead, dude. Just end me.
It's ridiculous, bro. This is... Did I just get hit freaking 3 times?
How?
Cuphead is a run-and-gunning, boss-rushing, platform and dropping shooter known for its rich art style and music inspired by the 1930s, and the even richer desire to throw yourself out a window when you die the 200th time trying to kill Discount Eggman. It's a critically acclaimed game that deserves all the attention and support it gets, and more. Enchanted Portals is a game very obviously inspired by Cuphead. Some might call it a clone or ripoff, but is that really a bad thing? I mean, as long as it's inspired and has genuine uniqueness and effort put into it, are we really just gonna write off more Cuphead? Enchanted Portals is good in concept. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just say this game has great ideas that they definitely fumbled on delivery. So let's talk about it. Enchanted Portals had a teaser trailer in October 2019. And they had pretty mixed reception, many writing it off as a knockoff, a bootleg, Cuphead at home. Others were hopeful and pretty excited for its eventual release. Now, Zixo Games, the creators of Enchanted Portals, is only made up of 2 people. Compared to Studio MDHR's team of a few dozen people, the odds were pretty stacked against them from the start. So they took the Kickstarter in 2020 and pledged a €120,000 funding goal for a planned release in October 2021. It didn't even get close. Add on top the controversy of one of the bosses being native chickens, and suddenly these two are racist. Yeah, at this point this ain't gonna work. So relative radio silence until September 5th, 2023, where Enchanted Portals would be dropped with basically no advertising and on its head. Seriously, it's been years since the announcement and I only found out it dropped over a week after release. So I bought the game and it's $30.
You serious?
Look, I'm all for supporting indie devs, especially 2-man teams, but $30 for 9 bosses instead of Cuphead's $21 base game with 28 friggin' bosses. Or a little over 30 for the base 28 and 12 new ones. You tell me what's the better deal, because that's just criminal. At that point, I was just playing as much as the 2-hour refund policy would let me, and it took literally the second world for me to lose my sanity. But we'll get to that soon. So in the beginning of the story, you meet 2 wizards, Bobby and Penny, who fricked around with a magic book and found out. And now we have to fight through 6 worlds to find the book, beat its ass, and get back home. As a side note, the first cutscene is pretty well animated, and I'm betting a good 95% of the budget went into it, because there's no other animated cutscenes. Not even boss transitions are animated. It's hilarious. So, like Cuphead, Enchanted Portals gameplay consists of run and gun levels and boss fights. Level design in these run and guns are pretty damn boring. I mean, to be fair, I never even liked Cuphead's run and gun levels, but that's because they're hard, and so is this game's. But not for the right reasons. In Cuphead, the platforming is genuinely fun and engaging, the gimmicks are unique, and the enemies pose a threat without completely cluttering your screen. What the hell is going on here? Okay, not when Don't even get me started on elements, where your shots need to match the element that is somehow radiating off the enemy to kill them. Sometimes they just completely forget about this mechanic until they decide to cram it in again. I hope you don't ever think you can do a pacifist run in this game. In Enchanted Portals, there is no run and gun. It's just gun. Even then, there are so many cases of enemies you just can't kill. They just don't have a hitbox for whatever reason. So if you're in a bad situation, there isn't much you can do about that. And while yes, there is a block, this block is trash. It lasts long enough to block an immediate hit, but since your screen is so cluttered, you'll probably get hit right after anyway. And you can't use it in the air. If you could, it would be 1,000 times better, since the air control... Okay, what was going on there? Parry is just so much better. Even if it doesn't block every projectile, you have a lot more freedom in terms of movement using it. I came to all these conclusions during the second world's run and gun. Oh my god, what am I supposed to do about all this garbage on my screen? Yeah, I absolutely lost my mind trying to beat this level in normal difficulty. 2 low-res police aliens constantly following you and blasting you, on top of viruses you can't shoot, probably meaning you'll jump and get shot by the aliens. On top of the mini boss just being a wall that spawns these invincible viruses while you get shot at. No, don't do this to me. Game. On top of all this garbage, it's the biggest crime in gameplay of all. No iframe.
What?
That's right.
You what?
Even Cuphead is merciful enough to give you a break when you get hit. But I don't know if it's a coding error or just a straight up oversight. But you can get hit over and over and over. Hey. Hey! Okay. What the? Bruh! This thing's more in boss fights because every hit matters and losing 2 hit points from one projectile is just no good. It's no wonder I eventually just switched to easy so I could fight the cow boss. But then I just became an absolute bullet sponge. There's like no in between. But on that topic, I do kinda like the bosses. Obviously they're nowhere near perfect. In terms of animation, they range from extremely smooth to flash game quality. And even a flash game is better in that department. Some effects are just straight up JPEG images I could find on Google. For example, the witch boss. There's a reason only her first phase was shown in the trailer, because after that, it just feels like she's using placeholder images. Like, are these supposed to be smoke? Magic orbs? Who knows? And that fire is just... I mean, come on, right? And what's going on with the random art style changes? It doesn't help that there's almost zero sound effects besides generic punch and jump you could find in a stock library. It just makes things awkward, and not even a pretty decent music is able to fix that.
My God.
The bosses themselves, again, in concept, not bad. They're hard in a Cuphead kind of sense, and while most of the fights themselves aren't the most engaging, mostly due to no sound effects, I do like the ideas they've thrown out there. Alien cows, frog princesses, chicken cowboys that were always chicken cowboys, literal Beethoven. The final boss is a whole ass dude. That's crazy. It's definitely out there and unique. I honestly can't draw too much comparison between these bosses and Cuphead's. But it still feels like it needs more. I mean, the Beethoven boss, for example, is a really cool idea, but he only has a few attacks and 1 phase. That's just not enough for a boss, you know? Same thing with the dogs. And I won't even compare these guys to the casino mini bosses because these are 2 out of the 9 bosses. And seriously, only 9 bosses? That's nowhere near enough content for a $30 game. That's just unforgivable. Enchanted Portals needs work. Lots of work. I really like the ideas and I want to like this game so badly. But as it stands, the execution was horrible, laughable, straight up doo-doo water. So a few more years in the oven and maybe we'll be looking at a game that is more than just a Cuphead inspired game. More than just a glorified flash game. A game that's a household name that everybody needs to play. But that's not now. Oh hell no. Just go buy Cuphead. And if you're looking for more Cuphead, don't buy this. At least not yet. Go take a look at Dead Cells or something. It's got a run and gun and boss rush kind of feel and is 100% worth every penny. I'm still rooting for this game. Maybe one day it'll get its redemption arc. Thanks for watching. Like, sub, hit that bell, all that, and I'll catch you later.